Hello, and welcome to today's presentation on prayer corners and how to use them effectively. Today I'm going to be taking you through what prayer corners are, how you're able to set them up properly, and how you can effectively use them to help encourage good development in Catholic and spiritual life. So to start off with, what is a prayer corner? A prayer corner is a place in a classroom that is dedicated to form time prayer, and it's somewhere that children can place their prayers of thanksgiving and petition onto. And what do I mean by that? Thanksgiving can be about anything. It can be about thanking that they have done well in their exams or in their classes. It can be thanking that they are healthy. It can be thanking that things are going well in their life. And petition is asking for things. It could be asking that someone gains their health back, that someone who is unhappy gains some happiness, that someone who is sick gets better. And finally, a prayer corner is a tool to assist Catholic life development. It is helpful for both staff and students to understand their house saints and the Catholic faith as a whole. Now, how are you going to be able to use this prayer corner effectively to do this? First off, you need to set your prayer corner up. And the way to do this is like this. Many of you have already taken the first step into creating your prayer corner, but there are still some more steps to take to complete them. So, the first thing that I would like every prayer corner to have access to is a central image of either our Lord, Jesus, Our Lady, Mary, or your house saint. This should be the focal point of your prayer corner, the first thing that people see when they look at it. Secondly, around this image, there should be house prayers dedicated to your house saint, or prayers that have been given to you by your house team. You need to ask students to regularly write prayers and use them to change your display weekly with these prayers. So each week, once a week, ask your students on a Monday or a Tuesday to write some prayers dedicated to something to do with either liturgical year or something to do with how that's happening in the current climate of either the school or in our country. At the moment, obviously, the ones we'll be talking about would either be Lent or when the children come back, how they've been feeling after been locked down for the last several months. And finally, something that many of the really, really good prayer corners around the school have been using is using statues of our Lord or maybe one of their house saints to help emphasize the religious nature of the corner. Some classrooms have even used fake flowers to give over a sense of reverence to these prayer corners, to help people use it as a focal point. Now, once you've set it up and it looks good, there is no point in simply just leaving it be. So we need to use it effectively. How are we going to do that? So how to effectively use my prayer corner? A prayer corner is a sacred place in an otherwise secular room. It is your duty and mine to ensure that children in a Catholic school have the opportunity to access the divine as often as possible. And therefore, you need to update your prayer corner with prayers from your students regularly. They need to be seeing that prayer is an important part of their daily ritual here in school, and that it is something that we use each day to focus our minds on something to do with reflection or something to do with thinking about the problems that have happened to us over the week and bringing them together in a form of prayer. Prayer is not necessarily just about asking for things. It is about giving over our emotions of sometimes sadness, anxiety, and giving them over to God to take them away. And that is one of the reasons why we use prayer. You need to use that corner as a place to pray with your forms. And so it should be where you're standing when you start your prayers with form time. There is no point of having a prayer corner and then praying at the front of the classroom next to the board. Use that prayer corner as a place to actually be praying with your forms. Let it be obvious every single day when you're praying in form time that that is where prayers take place, so that students know that if they have any prayers they want to write down or things they're worried about that they're going to put in your prayer box, which we're talking about shortly, that is where they can go, that is the focal point of prayer, that is where they will have their meeting with the divine. And finally, you need to invite students to leave prayers and thoughts in a secure box at the end of each of these prayer sessions. Now, finally, you'll see that there are several examples of good prayer corners around the school. I've also placed a list of ideas that I gave you before for making prayer corners look good. Thank you very much for listening to me, and best of luck. If you have any more questions, please get in touch.